If there's one thing that I miss about the 90s, it's the fact that a lot of movies from that decade, particularly action, crime, suspense, thriller, stuff like that. None of those movies always, emphasized on CGI or too many robots. They always focused mostly on its storyline and characters and character development, in my opinion at least. See, a lot nowadays, that's all they have is just CGI and robots, and particularly in action movies. Although they kind of slowed it down a little, but that director Michael Bay would always have those type of elements to please mostly younger audiences. The stupid Transformers and poorly executed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff. I didn't care for any of that shit. But back in the '90s, there was a bunch of awesome crime suspense films Seven, Copycat, L.A. Confidential, Devil in a Blue Dress. You know, awesome. Primal Fear. Falling Down, Breakdown. All those good suspense, nerve wracking type shit. And a bunch of good action films like Speed, Face Off, and Con Air was actually pretty good, and fucking Executive Decision. Even a bunch of '90s Steven Seagal films that were I consider those guilty pleasures. Uh, Fuck. Even some lesser known films like Passenger 57, Murder at 1600, uh, Absolute Power, that Clint Eastwood film. A combination of action and suspense, all that good stuff. You know, and this one is not an exception. This True Lies is a Arnold Schwarzenegger classic by every definition. Although it's actually one of the films that barely anybody talks about as much as his other stuff like Terminator or Predator or Commando or even fucking Kindergarten Cop. Although a lot of people don't really seem to know Kindergarten Cop as much as his more action related stuff. But this is I consider this one of his most underrated films. But I mean, it's him and James Cameron. A few years after the first two Terminator flicks, and I think that they made a pretty good team, kind of like nowadays with um, you know Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio and shit like that. And I love this movie. I think that it has a lot of good explosions, a good cast, good action scenes, and James Cameron has made quite a few decent flicks. You know, Titanic, The Abyss, obviously the Terminator movies, and of course Aliens, all the good stuff. I have a lot of that stuff, and this as well. This movie actually has a pretty decent soundtrack as well. Oh, I mean, it has just a couple of songs though on the soundtrack. For the most part, it's just the score. But a few of them that I know of is Living Colors cover of "Sunshine of Your Love" by Cream. Yeah, that appears in a pivotal moment in the movie, and a song by Screaming Trees. Yeah, but like I said, the rest of the film is just the soundtrack is just the score. But one band that I actually did not recognize until I found it that was on the soundtrack is this band. This is a very underrated band called Mother Tongue. One of their songs actually appears on the soundtrack, and the song actually appears on this album. The song is called Entity. It's a it's a pretty good song, and this is a very good album. There's this, I think I read on Discogs that they're kind of influenced by Jimi Hendrix and Led Zeppelin, So they're kind of like blues funk type, kind of like how Jimi Hendrix had a little bit of funk to him, during his living years. But this is a very underrated band. I found this album at Half Price Books in Skokie and the Village Crossing one. I found it in the clearance section as I usually do. But yeah, like this is these guys are like completely like severely obscure. Like they only like released like a few other albums, including a couple EPs. But other than that, they're basically completely fallen off the face of the earth. Like they have long since broken up, but although I'm not sure if they're still, but yeah, no, they have broken up long before. You know, I'm not sure if they were around during like the early 2000s, but I can tell you that you know, even if like they were, chances are they did not get as much recognition as much as they did when they released this album. This is actually their debut album. Um, it's their self-titled album, from Sony Music Entertainment, and like I was very impressed by this one. I was really like into. See, I'm into like that kind of funky, rock type. Just like like there's like a lot of other stuff like Robert Randolph and the Family Band. They got like a funk rock sound, and like I could just go on all day listen to a bunch of funk rock groups. Faith No More and Living Color and a bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers. Those are some pretty decent like funk types, and I uh, I enjoy that shit. I really enjoy like the sound that they had. It's like it's like one of those bands that you probably saw at like a festival. They're like just and then they're probably just giving out like their CDs like for like a few dollars, to promote, or to get more publicity, you know. But they're a lot more than that. I mean, I popped this into my stereo and I was like pretty much fucking blown away. Just a lot of the stuff on this is pretty awesome. There's Burn Baby, it's kind of a fucked up name, but whatever. Sheila's Song, some other good stuff, but so far, Entity is like the most well known song off this album. Because I told you it appears on the True Lies soundtrack, but this entire album rocks. You know, if you were into like that funk, rock shit like that, I would seriously, you know, maybe like dig through like the clearance section, or like if you chances are you may actually find this at like a thrift store or at least a flea market, because like I said, this band is not relatively well known. So, but you could find like a ton of obscure shit, in like at like thrift stores, because like they have like a ton of that stuff. And so for the most part, I seem to have like a lot of good luck. But with thrift stores, if you're looking for something specific, chances are you're not going to say that. I mentioned that in an earlier video, but so if you could find this particular album anywhere, at like a local record store or a or half price books or anything like that, I would give this band a go. And like I said, you know, it they contributed to such an awesome action flick, and So I give them credit for that too. So, Mother Tongue, their 1994 debut album from Sony Music Entertainment, and that's it. Thanks for watching.